Welcome back to the Conspiracy Podcast. Once again, we're going to continue with JFK. This is Jorge.
Sean.
Hey guys, it's Eric. All right, welcome back, guys. We are in the midst of the Warren Commission.
Deep.
We've gotten to the point. So we are at essentially the Texas School Book Depository, and Fritz and Day, if you remember, they were examining the rifle on the 6th floor.
Oh, that's right. The high-powered rifle. How could I forget?
The building superintendent approached with information he thought should be brought to the attention of the police. So earlier, while the police were questioning the employees, Truly had observed that Lee Harvey Oswald, one of the 15 men who worked in the warehouse, was missing. So Truly provided Oswald's name, address, and general description.
And there's like a PIN number.
Yeah.
Snitch. That's snitch.
Snitch.
Yeah, 4'9", 97 no. So tiny. So he provided his address, his description, etc., and he left for police headquarters. He arrived at headquarters shortly after 2 and asked 2 detectives to pick up the employee who was missing.
Did you go to Harvey Gordon? Listen,
So
put the bat signal up.
Standing nearby were the police officers who had just arrived with a man who they arrested at the Texas School Book, or I'm sorry, at the Texas Theater.
Yeah.
Right? So Fritz mentioned the name of the missing employee, and he learned at that moment somebody was already in the interrogation room, and that was Lee Harvey Oswald.
Dun, dun, dun.
So essentially at the book depository, they said, hey, we're missing a guy. Here's his name, address. Go find him. They went to the police station. The guy was already there. Lee Harvey Oswald getting interrogated.
So who picked him up? He was already there. No, it's like you said he was already there getting interrogated when they went to go pick him up. He was already there.
He was already there being questioned for the shooting of Officer Tippett.
That's right.
So at police headquarters, Captain Fritz had begun questioning Oswald. And soon after the first interrogation, FBI, Secret Service arrived and participated in that questioning as well.
So they're questioning him for the murder first, but then they realized, oh, this is
he
our
fit
guy.
the
This is
description. He worked in the depository. All the pieces kind of started to come together.
I just want to say, I wonder, like, what power does the Secret Service actually have? Like, what can they actually do? Like, can they arrest? Do they have like prison cells?
That's a good question.
Like, I have no idea what their authority is.
That's a good question, actually. I think they have jurisdiction over anything that's related to government entities.
I'm gonna
I'll
let you continue while I look this up.
Yeah, so the FBI is interrogating. It's like, nope, I'm coming in. This is my guy.
All right, so just so you all know, the Secret Service has primary jurisdiction to investigate threats against Secret Service protectees as well as financial crimes. Weird. I don't like what. Okay, which include counterfeiting of U.S. currency or other U.S. government obligations, forgery or theft of U.S. Treasury checks, bonds, or other securities, credit card fraud, telecommunications, and it goes on. So pretty much,
But the first part says, so if it has to do with whoever they're protecting.
Anything to do with Secret Service protectees, and then somehow they're like in the financial crimes division. I don't know why.
Right.
Yeah.
But because they want to keep that shit secret.
Good info. Yeah. All right. It seems like they were given another thing with counterfeit. Like their main job is protecting the guys.
Right.
And then they're like, hey, by the way, we don't know where to put this.
Yeah, they're like, nobody wants to do this job.
Counterfeit.
And just imagine like Carl Hanratty is like part of Secret Service.
Hanratty.
It's like knock, knock.
So Oswald denied having anything to do with killing Kennedy.
Of course he did.
But what's interesting is that he denied having anything to do with killing the patrolman.
So he's a denier.
Which is very strange because there were like 4 witnesses.
Yeah.
You know, we walked through in the last episode, he literally killed him on a street. You know what I mean? In broad daylight in front of everybody.
And then
Evidence
he ran
is
into the
not
theater, which was like right down the street.
Like nobody disputes the evidence of him killing Patrolman Tippett.
Bro, you killed him.
You know what I mean?
Nobody really even knows that. Like,
I
feel like the general public doesn't even know.
Yeah,
that part of
and
the
what's
story.
interesting is like Oliver Stone's movie, 10 seconds.
It's
about
literally
Tippett.
like 1 second.
Yeah.
It's like it's so fast.
But poor Tippett is literally murdered.
Like,
He's murdered on the streets as an officer. You I just found that weird. Like,
It is kind of bizarre.
You push it to the side. So worst case, even if he didn't kill the president, he is a murderer.
Well, no, the thing is, the reason it gets pushed
Right?
aside is because like JFK, like the man of the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's like
Right.
it's
true.
like if I died and then like
The same day or the same moment.
the same day,
Yes.
like someone substantially more important dies. Like
Yeah.
even my wife's like, well, sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
That'd be the worst day to die.
I know, you're like,
Is when
"Damn
Kennedy
it!"
died.
I
Like
know.
you die.
You're irrelevant.
Yes.
It's like,
You're like last words, and your spouse is like looking up at the TV. Like,
that's like they don't even bury
the
you.
worst. So he claimed that he was eating lunch at the time of the assassination, and then he
That's
did.
the most fire alibi ever. I was eating.
And then that he spoke with his foreman 5 to 10 minutes before he actually left the depository. So he says he was eating lunch when Kennedy got shot, and then he said, "Hey, I'm gonna go home," to his foreman. That's what he says.
But then I thought the guy who was running the show was like,
Right. This is what he says.
he's not here.
I know he's.
That's what Lee
Oh, it's
Harvey
what
He's
he
a
said.
liar.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a denier.
liar. Yeah. Then in the interrogation, he also denied that he owned a rifle.
That's a stupid play.
Yes.
There's like pictures of you with the rifle.
So then when he was confronted in a subsequent interview, you remember that picture? Have you seen that picture of Oswald?
Yeah, with the guy.
He's got the
and
photo, or he's got
pamphlets.
the pamphlets,
Yeah, I
and
see
he's
it.
got the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, super famous photo. He claimed that his face had been superimposed on somebody else's body.
Before this technology existed.
They got
it's like,
Photoshopped.
Just Photoshop that shit, brother. They're like, we don't have computers, homie. Like, what
Do
are
you think it
talking
didn't
about?
exist then?
I don't think it was good enough to make it look that real.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
dude,
maybe they had that, like, maybe in a dark room, they
Yeah.
cut it out, and then they have the little pliers,
I think it's
and they
possible.
go,
Dude,
you know.
I mean,
my thing
Yeah.
is like, look, I'm mostly the believer of the conspiracies here. That doesn't seem real to me. The supercomputers were like a building, and they're gonna like fucking Photoshop that shit. No way.
Right.
Like, come on.
if somebody really wanted to frame him, though,
I know.
But-
a lot
but
of the
why-
conspiracies
if
are
you
about.
wanna-
If you really look at the photo, a lot of the conspiracies are about the shadow looks strange.
Oh,
that's right.
Okay, I
So
haven't
the
looked at that.
shadows of the rifle and
Yeah.
what time of day it was taken, the shadow was
Damn,
longer,
see, they
or
got
shorter.
way more deep
Yeah,
than I did.
I know.
because I was like,
Yeah.
it's him.
I know.
Looks just like him.
The problem, though, is there's a lot of evidence that he bought the rifle.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So,
And like,
so all the things about shadows and stuff kind of becomes,
and
you bought it. You
The last-
bought it under a phony name. You know.
the last thing about that was like, what? People. Do you see that shit nowadays? It's like. That was like a old school. Like he's like trying to be like it's like a gangster. Like he's trying to be thug. You're like He's got like a wad of cash
Yeah,
and like a
check this
gun.
out.
He's
Yeah.
like it's so stupid.
So he was asked. So what happened is this rifle. This rifle was purchased from like a newspaper.
Macy's catalog
yeah,
or
Macy's
some
catalog.
shit, like-
yeah,
like
no,
a-
actually,
I
for
know, it was a catalog.
and it was purchased under the name Alec Heidel. Okay,
do you know who that is?
I think it's one of his known aliases,
so in his wallet is a phony ID of Alec
like
Heidel.
a book card.
What? Yeah.
So then he's denying having anything to do with it.
Well, see, if we were going to say something about anything, and like it'd be way easier to do that than
To do an ID.
to do an
To
ID,
do a fake ID.
Right.
Yeah.
than to do that.
Then to do
But
photo,
but he still
Photoshop.
has but he
Yeah.
still has a photo with a thing. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
And continue, please.
So
Are
during
you turning Sean?
I know. And then by the end of this, I was like, I'm gonna get all three of them.
Don't listen to these fucking losers.
So during the questioning of Oswald on the third floor of the police department, more than 100 representatives of the press, radio, and television were crowded in the hallway, through which Oswald had to pass when being taken from his cell to Fritz's office for interrogation. So reporters had to try to interview him every time he would go
Like walk the hall
from where he was
Yeah.
being held to Fritz's office, right?
Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
please.
Between Friday afternoon and Sunday morning, he appeared in the hallway 16 times.
It's a lot of interrogations.
Damn.
Oh no, like it's 8. Because it's like
they're back.
yeah.
The The generally confused conditions outside and inside Fritz's office increased the difficulty of police questioning. Advised by the police that he could communicate with an attorney, Oswald made several phone calls on Saturday in an effort to try to procure his own lawyer.
And people are like, nope.
I'm not touching that with
I
a
think,
10-foot pole.
I think I'll pass on that one.
He discussed the matter with the president of the local bar association, who offered to obtain counsel. Oswald declined the offer, saying that he would first try to obtain counsel by himself. By Sunday morning, he had yet to get a lawyer.
Ugh.
All right?
Yeah.
So we're now 2 to 3 days of homie didn't get a lawyer.
Yeah, that's kind of rough.
So at 7:10 p.m. on November 22nd, Oswald was formally advised that he had been charged with the murder of Tippett. Okay, so that's the night of the 22nd. Several witnesses to the Tippett slaying and to subsequent flight of the gunman had positively identified Oswald in lineups. While
I feel like the lineup is the worst thing. It's like literally, it's like
it doesn't really hold up though, does it?
Yeah, they're like, which person was it? And they're like, fuck if I guess. Like, I feel like the lineup is the worst. Thank God for forensic evidence. Like, thank you, God, for forensics.
Okay, so at the time, positive firearm ID evidence was not available. Just so we're all clear.
Oh, they
right?
couldn't do like the
They don't
barrel
have it
markings
now.
and
Yeah,
shit.
they don't
like,
have it the way they have now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you
they're
know.
like, this was fired
And the registered weapons.
unequivocally from. No, it's not even that. It's just like the rifling. The rifling leaves there's every rifling is different.
Yeah.
It's like a fucking fingerprint.
Because you got to remember, he killed Tippett with a revolver,
Yeah,
not the rifle, right? So,
Yeah.
same thing though.
but they charged him because
Everyone saw him
yeah,
shoot him.
everybody, yeah, there was like 4 witnesses, and he had a revolver that matched the caliber in the body of Tippett.
I mean, yeah,
on his person.
in the '60s, that's like
Yeah,
fucking,
that's pretty like
close
I
and
don't
open
know what
and
else to
shut,
do.
boys. Like,
Yeah.
arrest him.
So at 1:30 a.m. on the next morning, he was charged with the assassination of President Kennedy. The FBI traced the rifle that was found on the 6th floor of the school book depository to a mail order house in Chicago, which had purchased it from a distributor in New York. Approximately 6 hours later, the Chicago firm advised that this rifle had been ordered in March of that year by somebody by the name A. Heidel for shipment to P.O. Box 2915 in Dallas, blah, 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 of which that P.O. Box was rented by Lee Harvey Oswald.
Why was he renting? Like, that's just so bizarre. Like, I have a P.O. box in Dallas, but I'm in New Orleans. The guy's
So
a fucking
payment-
Renaissance man. I don't know. Like, Jesus Christ.
It sounds like a sloppy trying to cover up your tracks, doesn't it? A little bit like you're like, all right, I'm going to order it under somebody's name, but I need this P.O. box under my name. Like I can't open the P.O. box by my own name. So payment for the rifle was remitted by a money order that was signed with the name A. Heidel.
See, this is the whole thing. Like, back in the '60s, you could just. It's
just
so
write shit
it's
out.
so easy to do anything because it's all like fucking low tech carbon copy.
Yeah.
Like that's my whole point. That's why
No
I'll
trace of
probably
anything.
never believe you on this because it's like
Right.
it's not like today
It's
where
so
like
easy, I know.
it's so simple to be like yeah, bro. Like, it's so easy.
That's
to
me.
be-
That's my name.
I know. I could just be like Lee Harvey Oswald, me, man. I'm not him. Like,
So by the next night, though, this is a little, I thought this was weird. This is in the Warren Report. By the next night, the FBI advised Dallas police that a result of handwriting analysis of the documents that was signed to buy the rifle was Lee Harvey Oswald.
yeah, whatever.
So he did that, and they determined that in less than 24 hours from the assassination.
Yeah,
It just seems pretty quick.
I'm not a big believer in handwriting analysis. That's just me personally. I watch a lot of forensic files,
Yeah.
We need
and like I'm
somebody
not
on
a,
the hook
I'm not
here.
I'm just not a big guy.
Yeah.
That's just me personally. Like even
On analysis period.
yeah, just on analysis period. Like
Yeah.
even in like today's technology, it's like okay, but like I know how I write, and it's so shitty. Like no one can analyze my
Yeah.
writing. It's impossible.
You don't do it the same way every time.
It's
Like,
fucking.
I
it's
just scribble now.
hieroglyphs, bro.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's just something completely different.
So throughout Friday and Saturday, the Dallas police released to the public many details concerning evidence against Oswald. Police officials discussed important aspects of the case, usually in the course of impromptu and confusing press conferences that were just held in the corridor. So it was like a chaotic time. Things were wild. People were
are
everywhere.
screaming.
Yes. People were crying. People were upset, and it's in the corridor. And
Well, a lot of people have probably seen like the video or at least the images of that hallway
yes.
there, right?
Yeah.
That's where he got killed, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But-
yeah. I think it was
but-
that was the basement. That was in the basement.
Yeah. Spoiler.
Spoiler.
Don't listen to that, folks. Edit.
It's literally like 2 sentences down.
Beat you.
I know. We're spoiler for right now.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it was a crazy time, and what was really interesting was nobody seemed to know who had jurisdiction over what.
It was a very emotional time too. Like,
Yeah.
there was so much hate.
Yeah. Oh.
They had killed this.
Was this
president.
the Soviet Union? Was this
Yeah,
the mafia?
confusion.
Was this the CIA?
Yeah.
Like all the
just
things.
to make it even more intense, like there was no like Netflix back then. Like this was like your fucking whole life was like this case.
Yeah.
Nothing else. There's nothing else on TV, like nothing else on the radio, but this.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of things actually, if you go back and look and listen to the news media, a lot of them are wrong.
There's like
They just said wrong names.
random shit. Like,
Yeah, they said wrong names, they said wrong timeline, and they really confused the shit out of everybody. You know what I mean? Because it was chaos. It would be like,
I
"Ah!"
heard someone say this.
like you brought up in the DB Cooper episode.
Mhm.
You brought up that his name's not even DB Cooper.
Oh yeah.
It's a perfect example. It's a news reporter who just was like throwing shit together.
Yeah, it's like
And
random.
they're like, oh, this is chaos. Call him DB. Dan something.
They just want to be the first one to get
Yes,
the news out.
exactly.
Even if it's not right.
Exactly. So at the urgings of the newsman and of Chief of Police Jesse Curry, they brought Oswald to a press conference in the police assembly room shortly after midnight of the day Oswald was arrested. The assembly room was crowded with newsmen who had come to Dallas from all over the country. They shouted questions at Oswald, flashing cameras, and those cameras were crazy then.
Oh, that's when there's like a fucking light bulb in there that explodes
Yes.
when you take a picture. Like,
And later on, you can see that among this group was a 52-year-old Dallas nightclub operator named Jack Ruby.
Ruby.
So Jack was
Ruby.
Jack was strangely obsessed with it all, like the whole thing. Like he was there at the beginning, like when the assassination happened. He was literally just hanging out at the police station, hanging out wherever he could, just to get
Exposure.
all the info and all the I don't know. It was a strange thing. So. Anyways, on Sunday morning, November 24th, arrangements were made for Oswald to transfer from the city jail to the Dallas County Jail, which is 1 mile away. The news media had been informed on Saturday night that this transfer would occur.
Why? Like, fucking, it's, just so you guys know, we're going to move it, so be there. Like, why? Like,
At that
Because
time,
everybody's obsessed with it.
the amount
story.
of threats coming into the news or to the police station were huge.
yet they're going to let everyone know we're taking them out
yes.
at this time.
Nonetheless, on Sunday morning, television, radio, newspaper, they all crowded into the basement to record just the transfer, the 1 mile transfer. And this was viewed through television cameras. And Oswald would emerge from a door in front of the cameras and proceed to the transfer vehicle. To the right of the cameras was a down ramp from Main Street on the north. To the left was an up ramp leading to Commerce Street. The armored truck in which Oswald was to be transferred arrived shortly after 11 a.m. Police officials then decided, however, that an unmarked police car would be preferable for the trip because of its greater speed and maneuverability.
Yet they alert everyone that this is what he thinks. It's
every
like,
moment.
that's so
Yeah.
stupid.
At approximately 11:20 a.m., Oswald emerged from the basement jail office, flanked by detectives on either side and behind him. He took a few steps toward the car and was in the glaring light of all the television cameras. Suddenly, a man darted out from an area on the right of the cameras where the newsmen had been assembled. The man was carrying a Colt .38 revolver in his right hand, and while millions were watching on TV, he moved quickly to within a few feet of Oswald. He fired one shot into Oswald's stomach. Oswald groaned with pain as he fell to the ground and quickly lost consciousness. Within 7 minutes, Oswald was then at Parkland Hospital. This is where JFK died. He was there within 7 minutes. He never regained consciousness and was pronounced dead at 1:07 p.m.
That's from a shot to the stomach? That's annoying.
Yeah. Single shot. And this was
7 minutes.
on live TV. This was the chaos of all of this. Everybody was wrapped up in the assassination of JFK. What's happening? Okay, now we've got it under control. Nope, shit is not under control. Pop, pop, killer's dead.
Actually,
live television.
It's not pop, it's pop.
Pop, single pop. Yeah.
Single pop.
So the man who killed Oswald was Jack Ruby. He was instantly arrested and minutes later confined in a cell on the 5th floor of the Dallas jail. In interrogation, he denied that the killing of Oswald was in any way connected to the killing of JFK.
Okay, so I just wanted to kill him just because? Just because I felt like
I mean, he says though, it had nothing to do with in any way connected with a conspiracy involving the assassination of JFK.
But he killed him because he killed JFK?
Well, because then he later on said he killed Oswald in a temporary fit of depression and rage over JFK's death.
Okay,
Right.
I thought he meant
they
like
wanted
I
to
thought
take
it
him
was.
out and silence him.
I see.
Yes. So he was just saying, I killed him because I was mad and I was upset, and that's what happened. So Ruby was transferred the following day to the county jail without notice to the press. They learned their lesson, and he was transferred.
Finally.
Yeah. And he was indicted for the murder of Oswald by the state of Texas on November 26. He was found guilty the next year in March and sentenced to death.
Oh, it's Texas. That's right.
But I mean, so this is the Warren Commission. So this, as of 1964, his case is pending appeal.
Still.
No, not today. But this is the Warren Commission that
50 years later?
Yeah, no, this is everything that we're basing on. This is the Warren Commission.
3
This
years
came
later?
out. Yeah, exactly.
It came out 3 years later.
Yeah,
Right.
so he wasn't dead then. Yeah. Okay, good. So there we go. That was the story of the Warren Commission. Okay.
Yeah, because
Now I'm gonna read what they wrote at the end, which is the conclusion of the Warren Commission.
Okay.
Okay.
We are not liable for anything we've written in this.
So there's an entire paragraph that I X'd out because I don't want to read it because it's all like blubbery.
Boring.
It's all it's like we are
Nomenclature.
we are held responsible the facts relating to the proceedings and that whole whatever.
Like you can't sue us.
Yeah. So here's the Warren Commission conclusion. The shots which killed President Kennedy and wounded Governor Connolly were fired from the 6th floor window and the southeast corner of the Texas School Book Depository. This is determined based on the following. A. Witnesses at the scene of the assassination saw a rifle being fired from the 6th floor. And some witnesses saw a rifle in the window immediately after the shots were fired. B. The nearly whole bullet that was found on Governor Connolly's stretcher at Parkland Memorial Hospital. And
placed,
This untouched bullet and a stretcher.
And the 2 bullet fragments found in the front seat of the limousine were fired from the 6.5 millimeter Mannlicher Carcano rifle found on the 6th floor of the depository building.
How convenient.
To the exclusion of all other weapons.
Sorry.
C. The 3 used cartridge cases found near the window on the 6th floor at the southeast corner of the building were fired from the same rifle, which fired the above described bullet and the fragments.
Getting a cartridge, by the way, is the easiest. Go to the fucking gun range, bro. They're just sitting on the floor. Pick them up.
D. The windshield in the presidential limousine was struck by a bullet fragment on the inside surface of the glass, but was not penetrated. E.
Okay. How does that make it from the 6th floor? It isn't. Okay.
E.
Sorry.
So E. The nature of the bullet wounds suffered by President Kennedy and Governor Connolly and the location of the car at the time of the shots established that the bullets were fired from above and behind the presidential limousine, striking the president and the governor as follows.
Okay. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. President Kennedy was struck by a bullet which entered at the back of his neck and exited through the lower front portion of his neck, causing a wound which would not necessarily have been lethal.
Yeah.
The president was struck a second time by a bullet which entered the right rear portion of his head, causing a massive and fatal wound.
Oh, yeah.
Connolly was struck by a bullet which entered on the right side of his back and traveled downward through his right side of his chest, exited below his right nipple.
And then hit his leg.
This bullet then passed. Yeah, this bullet then passed through his right wrist.
Oh yeah, it's his wrist too.
Entered his left thigh, where it caused a superficial wound.
And then bounced off the ground and then up through his face. What were you saying?
But that was the one that hit the president first, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, wait. That hit went through the president, then went through him, then went through his hand, then went through his.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, F.
What?
We were just on E.
Yeah,
we were just on E.
We were just on E. Now we're on F.
I know, it was super abrupt.
F that.
I know. F. So F, there is no credible evidence that the shots were fired from the triple underpass ahead of the motorcade or any other location. This is, and I'm adding this last part, the grassy knoll.
Yeah, well, obviously, that was the only other thing.
No.
We'll get into that.
The weight of the evidence indicates that there were 3 shots fired. Although it is not necessary to any essential findings of the commission to determine just which shot hit Connolly.
Mm-hmm.
There is persuasive evidence from the experts to indicate that the same bullet which pierced the president's throat also caused Connolly's wounds.
Right.
However, Connolly's testimony and certain other factors have given rise to some difference of opinion as to this probability. But there is no question in the mind of any member of the commission that all the shots which caused the president's and Connolly's wounds were fired from the 6th floor of the depository. So they're kind of covering their ass here. They're saying that Connolly then gave interviews later saying, I heard X shots. I heard it from this location. I don't know. But what they're saying is, we don't know.
Yeah, they're like plausible deniability.
Yeah, they're saying, we don't know what he's saying. We don't know.
The most probable
all we do know is at the end of the day, they were shot from the book depository.
We'll get into that too.
The shots which killed President Kennedy and wounded Connolly were fired by Lee Harvey Oswald.
That was a pretty definitive statement. I mean, that wasn't like a we're not sure.
That is word for word. Yeah. This conclusion is based upon the following.
I thought they thought they just gave us that.
Well, no, they were laying out
All
what
the
happened.
evidence.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
what happened?
Step by step.
Yeah, what happened? Now,
I
this
see.
is why they think Lee Harvey killed him.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm tracking it.
So this conclusion is based upon the following. A, the Mannlicher Carcano 6.5 millimeter Italian rifle from which the shots were fired was owned by and in possession by Oswald.
I love the man liquor.
I know.
Gotta get me one of those.
What does that mean in Italian?
I have fucking
I don't know.
no idea.
We can use some listener help on that one.
Yeah,
what
please.
does Mannlicher
Write in.
mean
What is
Italian?
Mannlicher in Italia?
So B, Oswald carried this rifle into the depository building on the morning of the 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
C, Oswald at the time of the assassination was present at the window from which the shots were fired. D,
Supposedly.
shortly after the assassination, the Mannlicher Carcano rifle belonging to Oswald was found partially hidden between some cartons on the 6th floor, and the improvised paper bag in which Oswald brought the rifle to the depository was found close by the window from which the shots were fired. E, based on testimony of the experts and their analyses of films of the assassination, the commission has concluded that a rifleman of Lee Harvey Oswald's capabilities could have fired the shots from the rifle used in the assassination within the elapsed time of the shooting.
He said capabilities. Like, weren't his capabilities like shit?
Next episode, we're going to talk about Lee Harvey Oswald's capabilities as a sharpshooter.
Sharpshooter.
And by the way,
Come on
Mannlicher is it's Mannlicher. It's German. It stands for like male, masculine, manly, or mannish.
Okay.
Yeah. Mannlicher.
Strange that it's an Italian weapon in a German name.
Yeah, well, it's like Ferdinand Mannlicher was an Austrian engineer and small arms designer.
Okay.
Designed by Ferdinand Mannlicher after his name.
All right.
And there you have it.
All right, there you go. The commission has concluded further that Oswald possessed the capability with a rifle which enabled him to commit this assassination. F. Oswald lied. Yeah. Oswald lied to the police after being arrested concerning important matters.
Okay.
So that's part of their evidence is he
There
just
was-
is a liar.
There was
Yeah.
hundreds of millions of people who have lied to the police.
Oh,
This
100%.
as an FYI. I have lied to the police before.
G.
I
So
killed JFK.
This is something that I found. This next point is something I found that almost 80-90% of people don't know.
Independent fact checkers.
Okay. G. Oswald had attempted to kill Major General Edward Walker on April 10th the same year, thereby demonstrating his disposition to take human life.
Wait, but he wasn't arrested for attempted murder?
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah, so they know that he did it, but they didn't arrest him for attempted murder
didn't
on
know that
a
either.
fucking general. Attempted murder on a general, and he wasn't arrested.
I don't think they had the evidence to actually.
Well, then how do they know
Convict
he
him.
did it? If they don't have the evidence,
Yeah,
if he's not able to convict
That's
him.
also what we're going into next episode. These
Okay.
are all like so. Next episode is all about Lee Harvey Oswald.
The
It's
crescendo.
literally his birth to his death, all the things. So, but I just have noticed that nobody knows that like 6 months earlier, in the Warren Commission at least, he is accused of trying to assassinate another figure.
Oh, this is like an OJ thing. They're like, well, we all know he did it, but like,
No,
He's
it would
off?
be no. It would be like if OJ tried to kill like his girlfriend 6 months earlier.
Yeah.
then he actually kills her.
Yes, yeah, like or maybe not. Yeah, not exactly, but you know, he's
Yeah,
tries to kill somebody.
Tries to kill us like
Yeah.
a side piece, and then
No.
and then he kills his girl.
Yeah.
Oswald killed Dallas police officer J.D. Tippit approximately 45 minutes after the assassination. This conclusion upholds the finding that Oswald fired the shots which killed President Kennedy and wounded Connolly and is supported by these.
That's another thing too. It's like really like 45 minutes after you kill the president, you're gonna shoot a cop. Like it's a little,
Desperate, man. He was
was trying to get
desperately
away,
getting
yeah.
away.
but he wasn't like they weren't chasing him down for that. Wasn't he like a
He
fucking
was freaking out.
Yeah.
He was freaking out. Yeah.
whatever, Eric?
And
You don't
the
know.
description already had gotten out, remember?
Eric doesn't
know-
And
Eric
so
doesn't
the
know
cop-
everything.
Five.
Hey.
I mean, how many 5'7" white 140-pound?
Dude, more than you can imagine.
yeah.
In the 60s, that was every white male in America.
That was 80% of the
I
population.
know, literally, it's like everyone.
Yeah. So just a couple points that they put in here about why they believe that he killed Tippit, right? 2 eyewitnesses saw that Tippit shooting, and 7 eyewitnesses heard the shots and saw him leave with
See,
the revolver in his
Eric
hand.
started giving us like false fact. He told us 4 witnesses, liar.
7 people saw him leave with a gun in his hand.
I thought they said they just heard the shots.
No, 2 saw him shoot.
Oh, okay.
So 2 saw him
I've
shoot.
heard 2, I've heard 4, and I've
Oh,
heard 7
Jesus.
so far.
Listen,
Oh,
we're on
man.
some conspiracy. Eric is the conspiracy.
Yeah, I'm on the CIA payroll. Mm.
That's the whole point of this
Yeah.
podcast. It's like,
You do a background check on the podcaster.
Sorry, continue.
So, okay. So again, 2 people saw him shoot Tippit.
Understood.
7 people saw him or heard the shots and then saw him leave with the gun in his hand. So these 9 witnesses identified Lee Harvey Oswald as the man they saw.
I believe he killed Tippett for sure.
Okay.
100%.
All
I'm like on board with
All
that.
right.
I'm
Here
on
we
board
go.
with that.
Progress, folks. B. The cartridge cases found at the scene of the shooting were fired from the revolver that Oswald had in possession. C. The revolver in Oswald's possession at the time of his arrest was purchased by and belonged to him. Yeah.
Sure.
D. Oswald's jacket was found along the path of the flight taken by the gunman as he fled from the scene. So homie literally just took his jacket off and threw it on the
Dude,
floor.
like, this man is like desperately trying to get caught. Here's my, I dropped his wallet.
Yeah.
On,
Shoot,
the,
shoot,
on the dead
out.
body.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like, Jesus.
His fake ID.
I
Shit, I better leave this here.
know. They can never find this on me.
So within 80 minutes of the assassination, within 35 minutes of Tippit being killed, Oswald resisted arrest at a theater, attempting, I mean, this is, they say attempting to shoot another police officer, but he didn't, he really just kind of like, was
Stop
like
persistent,
fighting.
son.
Yeah, it was like fighting.
Stop resisting. I'm not resisting.
So with that, the commission has reached the following conclusions concerning Oswald's interrogation and the detention by the police.
Yeah, we did not
So now
waterboard him.
so you see the segments that they did it in. They did it in what happened when Kennedy was killed, what happened to Tippit, and now what happened in the interrogation.
Yeah, because they're going to tell us exactly what happened in the interrogation. Like 100%.
A.
We didn't break his fingers, I swear.
Except for the force required to effect his arrest, Oswald was not subjected to physical coercion by any law enforcement.
I love how they're like, oh,
That's how they
trust
started
us.
out. Yeah.
I know, it's like there's no cameras. It's like, we promise we didn't kick him in the balls a couple times to get him to tell the truth.
He was advised that he could not be compelled to give any information and that any statements made by him might be used against him in a court of law.
Yeah, it's called Miranda rights.
He was advised of his right to a counsel.
Miranda rights.
He was given the opportunity to obtain counsel of his own choice
Miranda rights.
and was offered a legal assistance by the Dallas Bar Association. He rejected all of them. B.
No, whoa.
I thought you said he was.
He said
trying
he-
to
That's what it
reach out. He
says.
couldn't
I'm
find
just
anybody.
reading what it says.
No, because you said he was trying to find counsel. They offered him that. He said, hey, I would rather find my own first.
Right.
And now they're like, he rejected. He did not want a lawyer. He rejected it.
Word for word, it says, which he rejected.
Okay.
I don't know. There you go.
They said he has a right to be alive. Rejected.
Yep.
I'm going to reject that right, sir.
B. Newspaper, radio, and television reporters were allowed uninhibited access to the area through which Oswald had to pass when he was moved from his cell to interrogation room and other sections of the building, thereby subjecting Oswald to harassment and creating...
I think that was a stupid play for them to do that.
Creating chaos, chaotic conditions which were not conducive to orderly interrogation or the protection of the rights of a prisoner.
See, okay, at least they admitted that.
Yeah.
That's cool, because
Like,
that's
it's not
true.
like-
It's like kind of fucked up.
Yeah. Like he was branded the killer before...
Oh, dude, before he was even, like there was no trial. They're still interrogating him.
Yeah. Which is against the law.
Oh, but
Like that's against like
it's 100%.
everything
Well, you can get a
that America stands for.
No,
It's
you-
like
Which part? The branding?
well, like
or-
yeah, like you're branded guilty before you
he
have
has
a
a
fair
trial.
trial.
He has a right to a fair trial.
You're
Yeah.
charged.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's
Yeah, but he wasn't found guilty. He's just charged.
No, but
Like,
the
No, no,
the
in the-
fact
in
that
the public eye.
like because look,
Or
if the media paints you already, everyone's like he's 100% the killer. There's no fair trial. Every jury is going to be tainted.
Mhm.
Every juror is going to be like, you automatically are guilty.
okay, but
So it's not. It's
you can't
yep.
control what the media puts out there.
Well, you can.
I mean, they
I
shouldn't
know,
have been
but
allowed
you can
to be
try
in
to
there
subdue
creating
it.
chaos. That
Yeah.
part, they
Yeah,
shouldn't
you
have
can
been.
try to subdue it in order to try to get a field trial. Like the whole point is like
right.
yeah.
you got to at least attempt.
Yeah.
But now they're like the killer of JFK.
Yeah.
Make room for the killer. He's coming through.
Here he comes.
Murderer.
Okay, good. So C, the numerous statements and sometimes erroneous statements made to the press by various local law enforcement officials during this period of confusion and disorder in the station would have presented serious obstacles to obtaining an actual fair trial for Oswald.
Yeah,
what you were just
exactly what we were just talking about.
To the extent that the information was erroneous or misleading, it helped create doubts, speculations, and fears in the mind of the public, which might otherwise not have arisen if they were not there.
You see, maybe that's why he got shot. They're like, "Fuck, this is gonna be a mistrial." Like, God damn it! Like,
So then the next one, or the next section, is the commission has reached the following conclusions regarding or concerning the killing of Oswald by Jack Ruby. Right?
okay,
So A, Ruby entered the basement of the Dallas Police Department shortly after 11:17 a.m. and killed Lee Harvey Oswald at 11:21 a.m.
okay. Well, sorry, real quick.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me this? Because I've seen the video. It's packed, and somehow he shows up 3 minutes prior. Like it's like showing up to like Universal, and like
Yeah.
you like you
to
have
the
a
front
fucking
of the
you have a
line.
fucking fast pass, and you like walk past the
Yeah.
line and like right
It's
to
so
the
true.
front.
You know what's funny is, and I don't have the notes for it, but I did read somewhere an interview with Ruby years later where he talks about how he couldn't have been involved in a conspiracy because the happenstance of the situation couldn't have been planned because it was by not luck, but by sheer like
Homie
couldn't
knew
have
when he was coming out.
You
He
couldn't
knew
have
when
planned being perfectly. He killed him at that moment because it was perfectly given to him. The moment, like
No.
he was like it was impossible. Like the
Yeah, it's-
circumstances were impossible to
Trust me,
concoct.
I could fucking replicate that shit
That's
like
ridiculous.
tonight.
Impossible. The guy knew
Impossible.
he knew what time he was coming out.
I know the police were like
Impossible is
at
nothing.
11:33, 8 on the dot.
All right.
We're gonna take him
Well,
out.
I'll pull out the notes.
We'll have a police officer to each side and in the back, leaving his front fully exposed. It's impossible.
Okay,
Could
so
never have
now
planned
you're going
this.
to love this next part. So B, although the evidence on Ruby's means of entry is not conclusive,
Well,
the weight of the evidence indicates that he walked down the ramp leading from Main Street to the basement of the police department.
Just wide open.
So what a weird statement. So basically what they're saying is that
we don't know how he got there.
the evidence is not conclusive, but they think that's how he got in.
Yeah.
Yeah? I love that part.
I'm like, look,
It's super
we have
complicated
no idea.
sentence. Yeah. C, there's no evidence to support the rumor that Ruby may have been assisted by any members of the Dallas Police Department to kill Oswald. D, the Dallas Police Department's decision to transfer Oswald to the county jail in full public view was unsound.
yeah, was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
The arrangements made by the police department on Sunday morning, only a few hours before the attempted transfer, were inadequate. Of critical importance was the fact that the news media representatives and others were not excluded from the basement, even after the police were notified of threats to Oswald's life.
Like everyone wants to kill him, bro.
These deficiencies contributed to the death of Lee Harvey Oswald. The commission has found no evidence that either Lee Harvey Oswald or Jack Ruby was part of any conspiracy, domestic or foreign, to assassinate President Kennedy.
Wasn't Jack Ruby like in the mob though?
He was not in the mob. He was a nightclub owner who had many
Nefarious
well,
connections.
I mean, if you were like just imagine you're a strip club owner.
You're like,
I
Have
mean,
some sketchy
who's
friends.
gonna come in there?
who frequents your
And
your establishment?
also, it's debatable on if you call them your friends.
Well, for him,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like they come in, you go, okay,
your friends who pay you
You're-
to be there.
yeah. Give Tony Tanya. You know, like that's about the extent of it. You know. Okay, good. So A, the commission has found no evidence that anyone assisted Oswald in planning or carrying out the assassination. In this connection, it is thoroughly investigated,
Thoroughly.
among other factors, the circumstances surrounding the planning of the motorcade route from Dallas, the hiring of Oswald at the book depository on October 15th, literally like a month earlier, he was hired there. The method by which
Wait, real quick. When did they publish the route? Remember they told everyone.
it's back in the earlier episode on the.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look
I think
that
it's
up.
about 2 weeks,
Yeah, because if he
2 or 3 weeks.
then okay, he gets the job a month before, and then they publish the route 2 weeks before. Like
It's close.
it's close because like otherwise it'd be like, what if he just wanted a job? Like
I know,
I was
yeah.
like trying to pay the rent.
Yeah.
Like that's it. We'll look that up.
Yeah,
we'll
look
get back
that
to you guys on
We'll
that.
look that up. We're gonna do an episode
with
on
the vantage point. He got lucky.
I know.
boys.
Oh
He just
shit!
got lucky.
He's there.
Yeah, he just
Get
got
my
lucky.
rifle.
He's like, I mean, it sounds like the job is like working at Burger King. Like, he got minimum wage.
Yeah, yeah.
At the
It
time,
sounds
it was
like a
like
shit job.
$1 an
He's
hour.
moving boxes. I mean, what is a book depository?
I still don't know.
What are we doing?
And why is it 6 stories tall?
Oh, God.
Jesus
I know.
Christ.
They go deposit books?
Why is it so tall?
Why isn't it a library?
Why isn't it a library? It is. It's like a library, but not.
Yeah. Okay, so
It's probably like
pretty
a
funny.
book warehouse, I guess.
I know.
I
Wherever they
guess
go
so.
before they
They
ship out-
deposit.
they deposit them there before
Before they
sell
send
them.
it to libraries, like
Dude, we don't have it.
it's on the supply chain line.
Honestly,
like-
we're gonna do a whole episode just
On
on
the
the depository. Yeah, around the country. So, A, the commission has found no evidence that anyone assisted Oswald in planning or carrying out the assassination. In this connection, it is thoroughly investigated, among other factors, the circumstances surrounding the planning of the motorcade route from Dallas, the hiring of Oswald in October, the method by which the rifle was brought into the building, the placing of the cartons of books at the window, Oswald's escape from the building, and the testimony of eyewitnesses to the shooting. B, the commission has found no evidence that Oswald was involved with any person or group in a conspiracy to assassinate the president. Although it has thoroughly investigated, in addition to other possible leads, all facets of Oswald's associations, finances, and personal habits, particularly during the period following his return from the Soviet Union. A little teaser for next episode.
Isn't it love it like America? We've been blaming shit on Russia for fucking 60 years.
I know.
It's Russia. Trust me.
So C, the commission has found no evidence to show that Oswald was employed, persuaded, or encouraged by any foreign government to assassinate Kennedy, or that he was an agent of any foreign government. Although the commission has reviewed the circumstances surrounding Oswald's defection to the Soviet Union, his life there from October 59 to June 62, so far as it can be reconstructed, his known contacts with the Fair Play of Cuba Committee and his visits to the Cuban and Soviet embassies in Mexico City during his trip to Mexico from September to October in 63. So all this information is what we're going to learn in the next episode, which is the life of him and like what he did. He's got some weird shit. Like he went.
I'm not going to deny
he defected
that fact.
to the Soviet Union.
I'm really not going to deny the fact that he's done some weird shit.
He's doing weird shit, right?
100% agree with you that he's done some weird shit.
Okay, so D, the commission has explored all attempts of Oswald to identify himself with various political groups, including Communist Party, Fair Play Cuba, Socialist Workers, whatever, has been unable to find any evidence that the contacts with which he initiated were related to Oswald's subsequent assassination of the president. E, all of the evidence before the commission established that there is nothing to support the speculation that Oswald was an agent, employee, or informant of the FBI, CIA, or any other governmental agency.
So pretty much this is like the whole blanket statement.
Yes.
Oswald was alone.
Yeah.
He had no data, no information. Like it was him. Nobody helped him.
It has thoroughly investigated Oswald's relationships prior to the assassination with all of the agencies of the U.S. government. All contacts with Oswald by any of these agencies were made in a regular exercise of each different responsibility.
Yeah, and it was all legal, 100%. We didn't do anything wrong.
F, no direct or indirect relationship between Lee Harvey and Jack Ruby has been discovered by the commission. Nor has it been able to find any credible evidence that either of them knew the other. Although a thorough investigation was made of the many rumors and speculations of that relationship.
Okay, so you gotta love a commission of like 5 dudes or like have like pure sovereignty over a thing.
Right.
They're like, just me. I hate that.
G, the commission has found no evidence that Jack Ruby acted with any other person in the killing of Lee Harvey. H, after careful investigation, the commission has found no credible evidence either that Ruby and Tippit, who was killed by Oswald, knew each other, or that Oswald and Tippit knew each other.
So they're saying Ruby didn't know anybody. And
so they're saying Ruby didn't know Tippit,
right? And
Oswald didn't know Tippit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's Tippit, like Tippit was just like
they're trying to cover all the bases.
All the bases.
Every who knew who.
And they're saying no one in the commission knew Oswald at all. No connection.
So because of the difficulty of proving negatives to a certainty, the possibility of others being involved with either Oswald or Ruby cannot be established categorically.
Yeah, like they're just saying like we can't. There's no such thing as 100% certainty because they don't know the data.
Yeah, but if there is any such evidence, it has been beyond the reach of all the investigative agencies and resources of the United States, and it has not come to the attention of this commission. In its entire investigation, the commission has found no evidence of conspiracy, subversion, or disloyalty to the U.S. government by any federal, state, or local official. On the basis of the evidence before the commission, it concludes Oswald acted alone. Therefore, to determine the motives for the assassination of President Kennedy, one must look to the assassin himself. Clues to Oswald's motives can be found in his family history, his education or lack of it, his acts, his writings, and the recollections of those who had close contacts with him throughout his life. The commission has presented with this report all of the background information bearing on motivation which it could discover. Thus, others may study Lee Oswald's life and arrive at their own conclusions as to his possible motives. And that's our next episode. which is we will look into Lee Harvey Oswald's life.
That's gonna be a good one.
And his
It's gonna be good. So, obviously, there's a lot more I'd love to say right now, but I can't. I gotta wait till that point where we talk about it. But definitely make sure you guys tune in next time. We're gonna get into more in depth. We want to hear your comments. We want to know what you think. We want to know your thoughts.
We told you this was going to be a big. This is going to be a big one. This is the mother of all conspiracies. We got to.
This is what began. This is what started conspiracy theories.
Well, and just like the last thing on it is I wanted to dive in and kind of make a decision for myself, because before it was always I don't really have a decision of who did what and what this that. And
you didn't have all the data.
Yeah, and so what I'm trying to do is I try to get as much information as I could and then come to my own conclusion. So,
of course.
So from a podcast perspective,
we're going through this with you.
Yeah. So it was, okay, let's get the Warren Commission done. What do they think happened? Mm-hmm. We're going to now, next 2 episodes, I think, are learning about Lee Harvey Oswald, his life. And then we'll go into the conspiracies.
Yeah, and then we'll like I said, I really want to know what you guys think. Yeah. So, because I think we're all over the board.
Yeah. Be nice to us, though.
Please.
Yeah.
Or be mean. That's fine, too. Just be with us.
All right, guys. That's all we got tonight.
And if you guys want to get a hold of us, make sure to go to theconspiracypodcast.com, and then you'll find the links to all our social medias or emails. Get in touch with us. Make sure to leave a review. 5-star, whatever it is, it all helps.
Whatever it is.
Five. Make sure
whatever
it's
it is.
5.
Make sure it's
5 stars. Even if you hate us, you got to love to hate us. Come on.
Hey, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you want to reach out to us, please email us at info@theconspiracypodcast.com. You can check us out on Instagram at A Conspiracy Podcast. Also, don't forget to subscribe. You can catch a new podcast almost every week. Just hit the little subscribe button at the top. It's a plus sign. We love show ideas, corrections, hate mail. Above all, the most important thing you can do to support our show is leave a review. That's how this show keeps going, is by reviews from you guys. Thanks a bunch.